goal of this talk is to improve your performance and increase your success in life, in class, in sports, in whatever you do. And you see up there, expectations. Our expectations are that you're quiet, you respect what we're doing, we have up here. We have a panel of people that we put together to bring in here that have expert roles in what they do. Now, mental fitness, it drives everything you do. Physical fitness follows far back. If you're not mentally fit, you don't go anywhere successfully. Now, we've got a panel of speakers down here that we've assembled. We've got Megan Keller. She went to Boston College. She won the gold medal for women's hockey. We've got Sarah, who used to be in the National Guard, but now she's a social media expert. And we got Major Kyle Moore, who there's no one better to speak about leadership. So we've assembled a group of people to teach you a few things today if you want to learn. Now, we don't have anything in common except for the fact we all played sports and we've all been on teams. Now, I played on the other side of sports. That's my career right there. I played at University of Maine. I played football. I had one roommate that took a punch about a month before the graduation. He was already in the Maine State Police Academy. Gone. Done. He was standing right beside me. He punched the kid. I didn't. Now he's a logger. I had another roommate that decided to take steroids. He's dead at 34 years old. So the choices you make and what you do can follow you for the rest of your life. So there were 3 roommates that went to the University of Maine, did the exact same thing. I made better choices, they made worse choices, and they've paid for it. Now, I went on to coach. I went to Boston College to work as a strength and conditioning coach. National championship in men's hockey, bowl games, women's basketball tournaments. And then after that, I went on to become the strength and conditioning coach for the Boston Bruins for 15 years. Now, being a strength coach and being able to see athletes in that snapshot is a whole different thing. I was basically a fly on the wall and watched teams and how they had success and how they had failure. And I'll tell you right now, those 2 groups at those 2 times had a lot of success. But I also had my experience to look back on and say, what are you getting from sports? Now, the goal, I don't care if you're not an athlete. Most everybody played athletics at one point in their life. But if you're on a club, you're in the band, you're a cheerleader, you're in the theater, it's the same thing. You're on a team. You're working with a group of people. Now, I stepped back after I had some of these successes and some of these failures, and I said, why are we doing it? Why are we playing sports? Why are we in the theater? Why are we doing these things as a group? Is it to go to college and get a scholarship? Is it to be pro in that sport or that being a musician? And I came up with this. It's not. It's being your best person and having it develop you into being your best person. As I've been around a lot of athletes along the way, they didn't learn this and it didn't last long. So what marks success in sports, theater, band, whatever it may be, is that it turns you into being someone better. Whether it ends in high school, whether it ends in elementary school, whether it ends in the Olympics, whether it ends with a Stanley Cup. That's what makes the difference. Now, the process should teach you 5 valuable lessons. They're right there. How to overcome obstacles. Do you think you're going to use that through the rest of your life? Out of sports? You're darn right you are. Desire to be better. You always want to be better. Sports teach you that. Drama teaches you that. The band teaches you that. If you don't always want to be better, guess what? You're going to stay the same, and someone's going to pass you. Hard work does pay off. It may not be with a championship. It might not be with a big celebration. But the effort you put in is what you're going to get out. Discipline and accountability. I'm telling you, these are things I'm teaching my 9-year-old twins. Because if you can't do it now, you're not going to do it later. He goes to college, and he's not accountable, doesn't show up. Guess what? Done. Done. Don't do your homework? Gone. Don't do papers? Gone. Teamwork. When to lead and when to follow. And that's really a delicate balance. Because everybody in this room are leaders. But at times, everybody in this room has to follow. And you have to know when you're doing that. If you can't do these things now, and you don't practice these things now, it's going to go right by you. Now, in sports, we use the term, are you a prospect or are you a suspect? Now, a prospect, a person that's regarded as likely to succeed. A suspect, someone that's probably not going to succeed. That's David Pasternak. That's draft day. First round draft choice. Right? The whole world in front of him. He's going to play in the NHL. But do you know first round draft choices? Only 40% of them go on to have an NHL career. Only 40%, the best of the best in the world. Not New England, not the United States, in the whole entire world. So, if it didn't work out for David, which it has, if David didn't make his millions of dollars and had success, and it was all over right here at 18 years old, what would have been good for him? If he didn't learn showing up on time, respect, working together as a group to go on to the rest of his life, what would it have been good for? Now these people that you play with, that you're in the band with, that you're in class with, that you're friends with, they already know if you're a suspect or you're a prospect. And it's kind of scary to think about. Like you're like, oh, I'm cool, I'm buzzing around school, everybody likes me. But then they're like, he never shows up. He never does what he's supposed to do. Says something, does another. Sending bad text messages. Doing whatever. He's in the bathroom vaping. People know, right? You're only fooling yourself if you think that. You got to control what you can. How hard you work, how much effort you put in, the attitude that you have. But the good thing about it is it's never too late. It's never too late to reinvent yourself. You could change today. So I would sit in front of 35 young men that came in to have a pro hockey career. They'd sit right in these seats and I'd say, listen, there's going to be 75% of you that are not going to be willing to go how hard it is to get to where you want to go. And they'd say, oh, no, yeah, no, I'm ready to go. But guess what? That's not just talk. There's effort involved. And they weren't willing to put that effort in. They weren't willing to go the extra mile. And guess what? The next year, there'd be 35 other kids sitting in that same seats. 2 or 3 of them remaining, a whole new group of people. So, I'm telling you right now, these people up here, they've got a lot to teach you. But you gotta be willing to learn. You gotta be willing to learn, and even if it's one thing. So, Megan Keller's gonna come up. And she's going to tell you a little bit something about the process and about being a good person and about success.
Touch this? We're good. All right, can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right, good. Thanks for the introduction, John. I'm Megan Keller, and I'm originally from Farmington Hills, Michigan. I started playing hockey when I was 3 years old. I have an older brother, and I'll just give you guys kind of a quick timeline of my career so far. And so I attended Boston College and had the opportunity to play for BC and be an Eagle. And at the age of 18, I was given my first opportunity to play for the women's national team. Since then, I've won 4 world championships with the U.S. team, and most recently I had the opportunity, thanks. I had the opportunity to win a gold medal with the 2018 Olympic team. And honestly, I didn't know these numbers until I saw them about a week ago, that there's 323 million Americans and only 242 of us were able to represent our country in the USA on the Olympic stage. So to be able to get to that point, it took a lot of sacrifices, hard work, utilizing people around me to help get me there. Obviously didn't do it alone. So as I go through this and talk about everything that it took me to get there, I hope you guys listen and take on the challenge. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about building yourself, who you want to be. I can stand up here and talk about all the awards and things that my teammates and I have done or won, but the thing that people remember are who you are as a person and what you are represented and how hard you worked, and not all the accolades that you earned. So really there's 4 things. I mean, we all have the ability to do a passion that we love. Mine's hockey. Your guys' may be music, theater, sports, cheerleading, whatever it may be. But there's 3 things that you can really control throughout that entire process. And that's your attitude, your lifestyle, the decisions you make. John talked a lot about decision making. And your dedication and your hard work. I really like what John talked about, building a better person. I think that's one of the highest compliments that you can receive, is being a great teammate, a great classmate, a great friend, a great son or a daughter. That's really, there's nothing else greater than that. Like I said, people aren't going to remember what you accomplished, they're going to remember who you were as a person. And so how are you going to get there? How are you going to build that success? There's really 3 things. Find and use your resources, the decisions you make, you don't want any huge mistakes, and then your determination and the will to find a way to be better. So find and use your resources around you. Everybody in this room right now, your teachers, your coaches, your staff, they're all here to help you. When I was growing up, I was very independent. I like to do things on my own. And I eventually came to realize that, I mean, why am I not using the people around me to be better? They have a wealth of knowledge. They've done a lot more than you already know. And if you take the time to ask questions and utilize them, it's just going to make you 100 times better, and you're going to accomplish way more things than you could even imagine. No huge mistakes. All of us look up here and we think we won't be that person, or we won't get caught. I'm not dumb enough to do those things. We all think it. I've thought it. And it takes a split-second decision, a poor decision, to do something bad that's going to affect you for the rest of your life. If I ended up making a decision like this, who knows where I'd be. I wouldn't have a gold medal probably. I wouldn't have the opportunity to represent my country or attend a school and get a great education at Boston College. You never know, and it's honestly really not worth it. You're going to have some great times in your life, and so I just encourage you to think about those decisions before you make them. And then determination. I mean, we're all going to fail at something throughout our lives. I certainly haven't succeeded in everything that I've done. Before I made the national team, I was involved in the U18 program. I was cut from the team, not invited back to camps. I've been scratched for games. It happens, and one thing I've learned are those are all opportunities to take and learn from your experiences, and just an opportunity to get better and see maybe areas that you can improve on and things you can do better. I really like this slide. Chara, I think, is a role model for us all. I mean, he's not the flashiest guy in the league, but he's certainly, there's a reason he has one of the longest careers in the NHL. He leads on and off the ice, and I think that's very important. He does all the little things right. He's not a big talker, but there's a reason that he still has an impact in the league today and continues to be a major contribution to the Bruins. You're up next, Sarah.
Hello. My name is Sarah Mabrelis. A little bit about me. I spent 9 years in the National Guard, first with the state of Minnesota and then also with the state of Massachusetts. I'm currently the marketing director of the National Guard Association, and I also run all of the social media accounts for the #2 incremental online clicker game in the world, Doge Miner 2, if any of you happen to know it. So school assemblies are fun. How many of you are getting out of a history class to be here? Yeah? All right, so you learn about archaeology and history 10,000 years ago, uncovering civilizations that lived back then, kind of trying to figure out how they lived, what they did with their daily lives. And it was really difficult because they hadn't even invented written language yet. They hadn't invented writing yet. So they had to figure out how they lived, who they were, what they thought about themselves through the buildings that they made, through the art that they put up on the cave walls, through the pottery that they built, all that kind of stuff. 5,000 years later, it became a little bit easier because they now were writing stuff down. But even then, you learned more about the kings, the queens, the nobility, the people who were in charge, because those were the ones who wanted to make sure that their story was known. Nowadays, everybody has the chance to be able to tell their story. They can put whatever they want, any teeny tiny mundane detail about, I didn't really like going to this assembly today, hey, that was a really great Boston game last night, to this is what I had for breakfast this morning. So 5,000 years from now, our digital footprints are going to be really big. There's going to be so much information out there of every teeny tiny detail of your life. And a big reason for that is because of social media. So social media, you all use it, everyone uses it, you can't escape it nowadays. It's the ability to kind of upload all of that data, this information, the content of your lives, share it with everyone else, and then be able to network with different people and get reactions and discuss all of these things going on in your life. And through social media, because it is a global connection, we're able to see things all around the world. We can see what's going on in Hong Kong. We can talk to friends that we have in Sweden. We make connections with people out in California. We can follow all of our favorite sports stars. We know exactly what they're doing, what they're eating, who they're with, what they're doing, what they're wearing, everything. But some of the downsides of social media is that we know everything, everything. So these are kind of like the 4 big social media platforms. YouTube can probably be up on there too. What are some other social media platforms that you guys use? You can just shout it out. All right, so clearly there's lots and lots and lots of them, right? There's TikTok, there is Reddit, Twitch, Discord, all kinds of stuff. So we're all connected into all of these different brands, but what are you saying on these social media platforms? And how are you projecting your digital brand? Because that's what it is. It becomes your social resume. It becomes your brand of how you want the entire world to be able to see you. And 5,000 years from now, when somebody else is in an assembly getting out of history class, what are they going to be learning about you? What did they learn about you that you put on all of your social media platforms? So again, it's all about kind of shaping your reputation through social media, and what you guys put on your social media accounts right now actually matters. You might think that, oh, I'm just 15 years old, nobody's listening, only my friends can see this, no one else can. Who here has heard of the story of Carson King? A couple people in the back. Carson King went to an Iowa State football game early this year, this September, and he held up a sign. He's a 24-year-old guy, loves Iowa State, as season tickets to the games goes to everyone. He held up a sign, "In need of refreshments," and then included his Venmo handle. The game was nationally televised on ESPN. ESPN thought the sign was funny and decided to use it as one of their cutaways when they went to commercial. Someone else thought it was really funny, screenshotted it, and put it on Twitter. Within 10 minutes, donations started flowing into his Venmo account. First it was $5,000, then he had $10,000, $30,000. Carson King decided to use this opportunity to bring awareness and call attention to a local children's hospital, and instead of taking that for beer money, he actually decided that he was going to donate all of it to his local children's hospital. Anheuser-Busch picked up the story, thought it was wonderful, and decided to match dollar for dollar everything that somebody donated to his Venmo account. So at that point, it started getting picked up by all the major news organizations, Anheuser-Busch, and this partnership that he had with Carson King, and all of the wonderful things that Carson was doing in order to bring awareness to this children's hospital. But in the course of journalistic research, they uncovered a series of tweets that took 30 seconds to send out when he was a sophomore in high school. When he was 16, 8 years ago. They were offensive, racist tweets that he thought he was just joking and sending to his friends. As soon as the media put this out, these 3 tweets that took 30 seconds to send out, Anheuser-Busch canceled their association. The local children's hospital said they no longer wanted his donation. And months later, he had to delete all of his social media accounts because of harassment, and he now reports having trouble finding a new job because nobody wants to associate with a stupid mistake he made when he was 16. Because it was 8 years prior, he didn't even remember sending the tweets. And although he has apologized for the tweets and acknowledged that they were wrong, they were offensive, he should not have said them, he is still so toxic. His social media brand is so toxic that nobody really wants to associate with him anymore. So again, think before you post. Does it really need to be said? Do you really, really want to tell the whole world this thing? Because it's not private. It lives on the internet forever, and anyone can see it, even if you think you have everything locked down. So you should have all of your stuff set to private. Because is this how you want to show your future college, your future employers? Do you think they would hire you? So going back to that digital footprint and how people are going to view you and how you want to project yourself in the world. So again, those future colleges, employers, everyone is looking all the time, even if you think they aren't. They're going to dig back through your histories. They're going to go back 8, 10, 20 years, all the little things that you posted that you thought you were only posting to friends. So there's a couple things that you can do. Make sure your accounts are private. Don't broadcast everything to the whole world. Don't let strangers be friends with you. If you haven't met them face to face, they should not be your internet friend. And just be conscious of what you're posting and whether or not it needs to be said. Another downside of social media is it has unfortunately allowed cyberbullying to proliferate. It's easier to bully someone online because they can't fight back. It's illegal in Massachusetts, and if you're accused of it, you can land yourself in a lot of trouble. So going back to these decisions that you made, do you want to be in trouble for something that you did when you were 16 years old and have it affect something when you're 24? So you have an opportunity to be a leader and to show your peers who you are. And as part of being a leader, we have Major Kyle Moore, who's going to tell you more about that.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I'm Major Kyle Moore. I am part of the Massachusetts Army National Guard. First off, real quick, I want to thank the BFIT program for allowing me to be part of their team. I've been touring with them for about a year now. It's a great partnership, and I appreciate everything this program offers. I also want to quickly thank your school and your administrators for bringing this program to you. It really shows that they care and they go above and beyond to invest in you, because that's what they're ultimately doing. We're investing in you, all right, and trying to educate you, because there are future leaders in these seats, and some will be pretty impactful one day. We hope. You listen. All right, so why am I here? I'm here because the Bruins identified the National Guard as having leaders, right? Because there's no other place in the country that puts more emphasis on developing leaders than does the military. I'm considered a leader in my community. When I was sitting in your seats, I had no idea what leadership was, and I certainly didn't think that I'd ever be in uniform. I certainly didn't believe that one day I would be leading men into combat during the height of war in Iraq, leading 44 soldiers there. And then going back a few years later with a company command to Afghanistan, engaging with the enemy in Afghanistan with 130 soldiers. So where you are today and where you think you're going to be in the future may not be the case. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit how things change and what you could do to be prepared and how you can prepare yourself to be a good leader. I'm going to take a quick survey. If you could hear me, raise your hand. Stand up. Look to your left and right. If people had the means, the ability to stand up, take note, and then sit down. All right, listen up. Here's the survey I just did. All right? Here's the survey I just took. To be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. There isn't a pure leader here yet. You're too young. There's some direct leaders and there's some leaders that are in development. That's what you all are. But the people that put up their hand could follow instructions. The people that had enough respect to stand up, which was all of you that could, that I saw, have a good beginning, right? Because you go to some schools and that's not the case, all right? So you're already in a better place because you could then follow instructions. All right, here's a good part. What is a leader? Does anyone in here who play sports? I see some jerseys out there. All right. Any captains? Any captains? All right. What's a leader? And what are you? Football player? All right. What's a leader?
Someone who can make the people around them better.
All right. Pretty good. Who wants to take another shot at it? What do you play? You run? All right, what's a leader?
Someone who influences their teammates to make good choices.
You guys have good teachers, good coaches. All right? Because you're leading at a smaller level right now, right? But leaders influence, leaders motivate, and give purpose and direction, all right, towards a certain mission or a certain objective. That's what we do. Leaders aren't managers, leaders are influencers, okay? All these people behind me up here are all leaders. They didn't raise their hand and say, oh, please me, I want to lead this huge organization. I want to be a strategic leader in charge of a million. You know, I need to be the captain. I need to wear that A and C on my jersey. They were the leaders in that locker room. I want to run a multi-billion-dollar business. You don't just raise your hand and say, I'll do it. You're chosen, you're elected, okay? But all these people develop over time. They're refining their skill. Who are you going to be when you grow up? Who knows that right now? What are you going to be when you grow up?
A dentist.
All right, we have a dentist. That's good. I don't know if you were truthful, but you have some direction. What do you want to do?
I want to be a landscaper.
All right. So we have a couple of people. Who here in the room, raise your hand, thinks they know what they're going to be when they grow up? All right. That's about right. Not a lot. I certainly had no clue what I was going to be when I was sitting in your shoes. And that's okay. It's all about your development. Hey, quiet down. I know we're having fun, but quiet down. Here's some of the tricks. Here's some of the tricks. The reality is, some people have direction now. Some people have more direction than others. But you don't need to know what you need to be successful as an adult. You're in the development to be something for the rest of your life. You just don't know what it is yet. And that's all right. The people with direction do a little bit better in the next several years in their life. But you don't need to know what you want to be. It's all about making good decisions. All right? It's about being able to recognize a decision point. And you get to decision points every day where you're going to post on social media. What class, what elective you're going to take. What colleges you're going to apply for. What business you might go in. What summer job you're going to have. And then there's social aspects too, right? What kind of mistakes are you willing to make right now that could affect the rest of your life? What you have to recognize is when you get to a crossroad, you have to make the right decision. And it's not even about making the best decision, it's not making the bad decision. That's going to work against you the rest of your life. It's as simple as that. Let me tell you a quick story of me. I was like everyone else when born, just a young little puppy, curious, right? Didn't know what you wanted to be, what you were going to do, who you are, everything was cool. Yeah, that's all of us. And I was going to be a hockey player. I was going to be a pro hockey player. That was automatic. That's all I cared about. I didn't even care about anything else because I was pretty good at it. And I was going to be a pro. I was going to be the best. Then in high school, around your age, I made one bad choice. I started rolling with the wrong people that weren't like me, that didn't have the direction and the drive. 1 year, I started to hang out with a bad crew. A crew that didn't have the motivation and drive that I once had. And I picked up some of their habits for 1 year. That 1 year shaped what I thought I was going to become. Because I lost scholarships to hockey, to universities. All right? I had the potential to go to West Point and be in this uniform, but I didn't want to do that then either. Okay? But the thing is, I didn't know what I wanted, and I made a bad choice because I didn't have any direction. And I didn't have goals, and we talked about it here. None of us coordinated this brief together, but we're all saying the same stuff as successful people now. So this is why we're talking to you. Some of you are going to listen. Some of you are going to actually hear this. Some of you are going to actually practice this a little bit. And you're going to be thankful, and you're going to remember it when you're an adult. So how do you become a leader? Do you think you're born a leader? You think you're made a leader? Who thinks you're born a leader? Raise your hand if you're born a leader. You don't think some people just have more potential than others when you're born? More privilege, more opportunity? Raise your hand if you think you have more opportunity than others. You do. So some people have more opportunity, right? Some people have more natural ability, but it's all about hard work. Military schools don't exist because we can't make you a leader. All right? So it's all about you. You have the ability to shape your future, is what we're all talking about. Who thinks they could brief my slide? Raise your hand. Who wants to give it a shot? Where's all that stuff to hand out? Let's hand some stuff out. Give it a shot. Give me a captain. Give me a leader. Raise your hand. Come on. All right, I'm going to go to whomever. Here I come. Let's do it.
Wait, let me read it first. Hold on. It's hardworking people that put others before themselves.
All right, I like that answer. Okay. Hey, so that's just the military, right? What you probably perceive as the military, what's advertised a lot. We are the best in the world for a reason. But all of this hard work that we always see on TV that scares people, it's all about failure, not being afraid to fail. You can't grow as a leader unless you fail. If you're afraid to fail, you're not going to become it. That's what that slide is. Here are core values. These are my core values because I'm in the Army. This is me. I live by these. But here's the secret to you. When you have to make a choice, figure out some core values that you want to live by, that are yours. So when you get to a choice that's hard to make, all you have to do is reflect. You don't have to tell people what it is, what your core values are. You just reflect. And you say, is this decision in keeping with my core values? And if it's not, avoid it. That's it. Make core values that will help you succeed. Steal some of these if you want. Write them down. Take a picture of them. Memorize them. Take one or two. You could have them. I'll give them to you. Here's some secrets to success we talked about. All right? It's time to be selfish in your life because that's where you are. You're developing. You're in a public school because the public is investing in your education. There's opportunity everywhere here if you're willing to seek it out. Go seek it out. Start your development. Stop being afraid of what people think of you. Be yourself and grow. Get out of your comfort zone and do stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable with the direction you're heading. So in other words, do something that you wouldn't normally do because you don't think you're good at it. All right? Because you might fail a little bit, but it's going to make you better in the end. Okay? Lastly, don't make bad mistakes. Don't make bad choices. We invest in you. We're here. People are bringing these programs to you. Your teachers are here to provide to you, to guide you. And we're hoping that you're all successful. Hey, thank you for your time, everyone. I appreciate it.
A few more things. We go back to, are you a prospect or are you a suspect? And you should start thinking about that now. You're trying to label yourself and where you fall. And I'll tell you right now, and I tell my kids this all the time, is character has a lot to do with it. And I'll tell you right now, character is how do you act when someone you don't look up to isn't there. Whether it's your parents, whether it's your coaches, whether it's your teachers, whether it's your friends. How do you act? It tells a lot about you and a lot about what you're made of. Now, people that say they are responsible with social media, if you do this and you're passing on bad stories, bad pictures, things you wouldn't want shared about yourself, guess what? You're not responsible with social media. Just because it isn't you doesn't mean you should pass it on. Think about what it would be like for yourself and be a leader. That's one way you can lead. Hear it all the time. I say, who's healthy? Who considers themselves healthy? All kinds of athletes raise their hand. Regular people raise their hand. And then this, right? 30% of high school students are vaping. Let me tell you something. You're the new lab rats right now. My grandparents died from it. You people that vape now, inevitably, are going to have some sort of an effect from it down the road. So if you're doing it, the companies are just controlling you. They're making you feel like, oh, I'm hiding, I'm sneaking, I'm getting away with it, I'm cool. Guess what? 10 years from now, you end up with something, a disease, a cancer, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'll tell you right now, you look at the testing from Juul, and they talk about the biggest things they have are carcinogens that cause cancer. Their own testing. So there's going to be a point when all this ends. High school, you don't want to look back and have any regrets. You want to look forward and have nothing but hopes, expectations, and a long, healthy life. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.